Hey everyone, and welcome to Top Think. Today we're going to learn about the 7 best habits to study more effectively. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Environmental preparation. Are you itching to incorporate new effective study methods into your scholastic routine? Well, in this video, we'll discuss several innovative techniques to increase your comprehension and recall. But before we dive into those incredible techniques, there's something we have to do first. Before you ever crack open a textbook, you need to create the right environment for learning. Your environment is just as important as the techniques you use. Imagine trying to study in a noisy, distracting environment. Those distractions pull you away from your work. It's difficult to concentrate, retain information, and process complicated problems. In the wrong setting, it doesn't matter how effective your strategies are. Okay, let's say you're studying in a crowded room. Bells and music play in the background. Groups of students laugh, shout, or wave hello. Any number of distractors can interrupt your concentration. Once you lose focus, it takes time and energy to get it back. Now, of course, noise is just one of the environmental factors that interfere with your concentration. Your phone, for example, can derail even the most productive study sessions. Lighting is another common hurdle. Dim lighting can make you sleepy, which interferes with your performance. Before you study, take some time to prep your environment. Find a clear, organized desk. Enclose yourself in a quiet room. Slide your phone into a drawer or somewhere that you can't see it. If you like to study with music, then make sure you play something mellow and consistent. Every one of these habits can decrease your productivity, so find yourself a peaceful and productive workplace, and that way you can make the most of your time and energy. Number 2. Productive clothing. There's one more thing we need to address before we get studying. Think about the clothes you wear while you study. Do you study in sweatpants or pajamas? Because you're not the only one. Many people read textbooks or write essays in their comfiest, baggiest clothes. You may feel cozy and relaxed, but you're studying, not sleeping or watching TV. If you want to be productive, you need to dress the part. This comes from a 2015 study from the journal Social, Psychological, and Personality Science. In this study, researchers investigated how your wardrobe affects your performance. They tested participants wearing 2 different outfits, one formal and one casual. Who do you think performed better? Participants wearing formal clothes significantly outperform their counterparts. But why does clothing impact your performance and productivity? Your brain is subconsciously governed by associations. An association is a mental or emotional link between 2 people, objects, or places. For example, your brain associates your bed with sleep. Every time you get into bed, your brain starts to feel drowsy. Why? Because there's a strong association between sleep and your bed. Your brain creates strong associations in every aspect of your life, including your wardrobe. The comfy clothes you wear to bed, for example, are associated with relaxation and restfulness. Wearing those comfy clothes puts you in a relaxed state of mind. On the other hand, the clothes you wear to class are associated with activity and performance, so those clothes evoke a more productive state of mind. So before you start studying, add this simple but effective habit to your routine. Get dressed in real clothes. You don't have to put on a suit or a dress, but you should at least change out of your pajamas. Number 3. Spaced repetition. Okay, you've created a productive environment. You're dressed like you're headed to class. Now it's time to study. But where should you begin? What are the best strategies to study more effectively? Spaced repetition is a flexible technique with a diverse foundation of scientific evidence. Here's how spaced repetition works. Many students learn by cramming truckloads of information into their brains all at once, but cramming is an inefficient and ineffective way to learn. You forget most of the information you cram into your brain because your brain needs 2 important things to learn: time and repetition. Spaced repetition distributes your studies over a longer period of time. By spacing your work, you can absorb, practice, and recall large volumes of information. Several study techniques use time and repetition to improve retention. Let's explore one of the most popular, a technique called the LEITNER system. The LEITNER system was created by a German scientist named Sebastian Leitner in the 1970s And to use the LEITNER system, you'll need flashcards and 3 empty boxes. First, make up a set of flashcards and place all your flashcards into box number 1. For now, boxes 2 and 3 should be empty. To start studying, take 1 flashcard from the first box. If you get it right, then place that flashcard into box number 2. If you get it wrong, then put the flashcard back in box number 1. Once you finish the flashcards in box number 1, you're done for the day. Now, you may feel compelled to study longer, but you shouldn't. Remember, your brain learns best with time and repetition. Each day, you test yourself on the cards in each box. When you get a card right, you move it to the next box. If you get the card wrong, then you move it back to the previous box. Continue this process until every card makes it to the last box. When you finish the LEITNER system, you've accomplished 2 things. You've learned every definition, and you ingrained those definitions into your memory. Number 4, the SQ3R method. Flashcards can help you memorize terms, concepts, and definitions, but the LEITNER system isn't always the most efficient strategy. Alright, let's say you need to read a chapter before tomorrow's lecture. You don't have time to make up dozens of flashcards. When you're short on time, what study habits can you use to learn more effectively? The SQ3R method is a great study technique for smaller assignments. SQ3R actually stands for SQRRR. This acronym describes the 5 key components of reading comprehension. First, you survey the text you're about to read. Skim through the major headings to get a general idea of what you're about to read. Next, you write down a few questions. You keep these questions in your head as you read and explore the text in detail. Third, read the text. As you read, answer the questions you asked yourself in Step 2. Then, write a short summary of the text you just read. This step is the most important part of the SQ3R method. Why? Because a summary reveals holes and cracks in your knowledge. Once you identify those holes, you can move on to the 5th and final step: review the material. Patch up the holes in your summary, answer any questions you have left, and reference secondary sources as needed. With the SQ3R method, you can tackle any text, from a biology textbook to an entire work of fiction. Follow these 5 simple steps and your comprehension may improve exponentially. Number 5. Mind mapping. So what's the difference between learning and memorizing? Before taking a test, many students memorize as much information as they can. They pack their heads full of terms and concepts, but when the test comes, they struggle. Why is that? Because they don't understand the information they're drilling into their brains. Mind mapping expands your understanding of the subjects you want to learn. This technique creates connections, highlighting the relationships between ideas, terms, and processes. By understanding how these terms relate to each other, you gain a more complete understanding of the subject as a whole. To build a mind map, find a big blank sheet of paper. In the center, write down the name of a subject. Surround that word with related terms and concepts. Now, do the same thing for each of those words. Over time, your mind map will grow into a complicated network of interrelated ideas. The better you understand that network, the more information you've learned. Number 6. Social learning. There are many other strategies you can use to retain information, but let's talk about what comes after. You may be done studying, but the learning process is far from over. Social learning is a fun and effective way to solidify the information you've learned. After studying for a few hours, you find a friend or a classmate to talk to. Tell them about everything you learned. Explain the major concepts and ideas to them, almost like you're teaching a classroom of students. Social learning may not feel like studying, but it is. When you explain concepts to other people, you're cementing that information inside your brain. Oh, but that's not all. You're also discovering disparities in your understanding. Teaching another person about a subject shows what you know and what you don't. Number 7. Storing information. Of all the habits on this list, our 7th and final habit is the most important. After stuffing your brain full of new information and sharing your discoveries with a friend, you need to store that information in your memory. Good study habits and social learning will improve your retention, but nothing stores information more effectively than a good night's sleep. Many students treat sleep like their enemy. They neglect their sleep cycles to cram the night before a test. If you think an extra hour of studying is better than an extra hour of sleep, then think again. Sleeping feels like time wasted, but sleeping is a critical part of the learning process. While you're unconscious, your brain converts fragmented short-term memories into lasting long-term memories. That's why crammers forget most of the information they study. They neglect their sleep so their brain loses track of the information they learned. According to a 2013 study from the American Physiological Society, learning declines significantly with sleep deprivation. In other words, it doesn't matter how effective your study methods are, if you aren't getting enough sleep, all those memories may slip right out of your brain. Hey, thank you for watching Top Think, and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way.